Imagine this. The world is falling apart around you. Fires you didn't start are raging. People you trusted have turned against you. Every decision you make feels like stepping into quicksand. Now ask yourself, how do you stay calm, focused, and in control? This isn't a thought experiment. This was the reality of a man who ruled the most powerful empire on earth. A man surrounded by wars, betrayal, and impossible choices. Yet somehow he remained unshaken. His name was Marcus Aurelius, and what he left behind wasn't just a record of his reign. It was a blueprint for how to master life itself. In a world where emotions are the ultimate disruptors, we often seek peace in places that are fleeting. Success, admiration, or external validation. But the Stoic emperor Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in history, showed us that true serenity does not come from controlling the world around us, but from mastering the storm within. So how does a man with such burdens remain calm in the face of chaos? If this resonates with you, consider subscribing for more reflections like this. Let's keep the conversation going and dive deeper into how Stoic wisdom can help us navigate our modern lives. Number 1. The power of perspective. Marcus Aurelius understood something many of us fail to grasp. Our minds are the only thing we can control. While everything else is external, we always have power over our thoughts and reactions. In the Meditations, he writes, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Consider the situation of Marcus when he faced one of the most difficult parts of his reign, the Marcomannic Wars. His empire was under attack from multiple fronts by a confederation of Germanic tribes. It was a brutal, exhausting conflict, taking years to quell. Yet, in the middle of this suffering, Marcus didn't see himself as a victim of circumstance. He reframed the situation as an opportunity to demonstrate courage, patience, and virtue. When his soldiers complained about the hardship, he reminded them that suffering was inevitable. But how they responded to it was their choice. In his mind, every challenge was a moment to practice stoicism, to remain indifferent to the fear and pain around him and focus on his duty. It's not the situation that defines you, but your response to it. Number 2. Acceptance of what is. To keep calm, Marcus Aurelius embraced what Stoics call the practice of amor fati, the love of fate. For him, everything that happened was part of a grand design, and thus, it was to be accepted. The Stoic's task is not to control the future, but to accept what comes with calmness and grace. When death struck his loved ones, when betrayal entered his court, when disease ravaged his soldiers, he did not ask, "Why me?" or "Why now?" Instead, he asked, "What can I learn from this? How can I grow stronger?" His acceptance of fate was not passive resignation. It was a powerful acknowledgement that the external world is beyond our control, and all we truly control is our reaction. Number 3. The discipline of self-control. Another key to Marcus Aurelius's calm was his unrelenting practice of self-discipline. Every day he reminded himself of his flaws and shortcomings. In the Meditations, he makes note of his desire to avoid distraction, to temper his anger, to act with humility. As emperor, he faced endless opportunities to indulge in power, luxury, and ego. But he was keenly aware that these distractions would lead him away from his true purpose, virtue. Through self-control, Marcus sought to align himself with nature's will. He avoided excess, avoided allowing emotions like anger or pride to dictate his actions. This disciplined, intentional way of living brought him peace, even in the face of overwhelming circumstances. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This profound insight into overcoming obstacles not only guided his leadership, but was a cornerstone of his calmness. He understood that the obstacles we face are opportunities for growth. Instead of reacting in fear or frustration, we can choose to rise above them, to use them as the very means of transformation. Number 4. Stoic stories of calm and chaos. While Marcus Aurelius exemplified Stoic calm during crises, his story is far from unique in Stoicism. Several other Stoic figures from history also faced immense pressure and hardship, yet remained remarkably composed and focused. These stories offer valuable lessons on how we too can maintain our calm. Seneca and the fire. Seneca, a renowned Stoic philosopher, once experienced a devastating fire that engulfed his villa. As flames ravaged his home, Seneca did not panic like others around him. Instead, he remained remarkably calm, reminding himself that the loss of material things was insignificant compared to his inner peace. In the midst of the chaos, Seneca's Stoic mindset guided his actions. He told himself that true wealth lies not in possessions, but in maintaining peace of mind, unaffected by external circumstances. Seneca's reaction to this crisis exemplifies the Stoic practice of detaching oneself from external events. He showed that the real measure of a person's character is not how they react when life is easy, but how they respond in times of adversity. His calm response to the fire was a direct application of Stoic teachings, focusing on what he could control and letting go of what he could not. Epictetus and his life as a slave. Epictetus, another Stoic philosopher, endured extreme hardship throughout his life. Born a slave, he was physically abused by his master, who even broke his leg. Despite these brutal circumstances, Epictetus never allowed his external situation to determine his happiness. In his teachings, he emphasized that our real freedom lies in how we respond to what happens to us. Epictetus famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." His personal experience of being a slave and suffering physical injury never led him to bitterness or despair. Instead, he used these challenges as opportunities to practice Stoicism, focusing on controlling his thoughts and emotions, not the world around him. Epictetus's story teaches us that even in the most oppressive and painful circumstances, we can maintain inner peace by choosing how we respond to suffering. Zeno of Citium and his loss. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, had a life full of personal tragedy. After a shipwreck, he lost all his possessions, and his home was destroyed in a fire. Yet, Zeno did not wallow in despair. Instead, he turned to philosophy and eventually founded the Stoic school of thought. He understood that what mattered was not external wealth or status, but the strength of his inner character. Zeno's response to adversity serves as a powerful reminder that Stoic peace is not achieved through avoiding hardship, but by mastering our inner thoughts and emotions. His ability to accept what came his way and move forward with purpose reflects the core Stoic belief in the importance of self-control and acceptance. Number 5. The enduring legacy. Marcus Aurelius did not only write about Stoicism, he lived it. His leadership was grounded in resilience, virtue, and a relentless focus on the good that could be found in every moment, no matter how difficult. In our own lives, we may not face the pressures of an empire, but we face our own battles. We have our own challenges, and like Marcus, we too have the ability to choose our responses. We too can practice acceptance, self-discipline, and perspective in order to maintain our calm in the face of adversity. The question is not whether storms will come into our lives, they will. The question is, how will we weather them? Final thoughts. To keep calm, Marcus Aurelius teaches us that we must master ourselves first. We are not in control of what happens around us, but we are always in control of how we choose to respond. The next time the world feels overwhelming, remember the wisdom of Marcus. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. This is how Marcus Aurelius kept calm. And this is how we can too. If you're ready to explore more Stoic wisdom and bring these timeless principles into your daily life, subscribe now and join us on this journey of inner mastery.